So I'm not gonna say much else because a part of me is still human and wants to be slightly sensitive to how some people may feel on the subject. But I am gonna say that the Pope dying on Easter is impeccable irony. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Especially after meeting JD Vance, it's like, I'm out. We're done here. Oh. Oh man. But welcome to another Yamato Live. We're here. Take a day or two away from Hovind because Sunday he does his morning stream. We cover that, and then there's no good material until Monday night. So usually Tuesday's the next day we go at it. And yeah, I've decided to do another Hovind video because those are popular. I know the loyal crew watches most everything I make. A lot of y'all are here for every other live stream. Um, but you got to look at the broad appeal here. That's because obviously people love my rips into Hovind because we all have our feelings on Hovind and none of them are too positive. Some people don't seem to understand that. This is the name of the game. This is the YouTube game. I'm gonna produce content where the views are. Gonna produce stuff I want to from time to time too, but sometimes, you know, usually at least once a week, good to do a good old Hovind whacking. So, was there anything else before we got going that I wanted to address? I feel like there was, but I just don't know. Oh, right, I remember now. So Joseph at Dinosaur Adventureland, if slash when you see this video, please leave a comment answering this question because I've been trying to reach you about your dinosaur lamp's extended warranty and you haven't gotten back in touch. Why is the dino lamp no longer on? Did you do it to spite me because I like the dino lamp? Is it broken? Please. I must know. My audience must know. What is wrong with the dino lamp? If there is a problem with it, if it's broken, can I have it when y'all come to Kentucky? Hey, I gotta go up there too. I'm in Tennessee, but when y'all go to Kentucky, can I have the dino lamp? Can you bring the dino lamp and me just get a picture with it? I'm dead serious about that. A picture of me and Ken Hovind side by side with us both holding the dino lamp would be awesome. All right. Can you get back to me on that, please? Thank you very much. Now, to my wonderful friends here, we have an absolutely normal ass Hovind video, I'm pretty sure. It may be something crazy. It's probably not, but you never know. And that's why we kind of have to hunt and peck at every one of them. And something I've noticed is that about every other video I ignore has something wild in it that I wish I would have caught. That being said, today we're going to cover. Oh, starting playing. Let me actually. Quiet, Hovind. Right, as I do this appropriately and correctly. There we go. Tiny Hovind. All right, we're gonna go back, and we have this video. Lord, or help, Lord, I'm in trouble. Psalm 102. It's a normal title being Lord help me, hence the thumbnail and the title of this video. Lord help the Hovind. Just gonna check out my awesome community. Zoom Tomatoes here, Zach's here. Jenny Vance is the Pope's Terminator. Maybe. Seth is here. What up, my man? What's wrong with Dino Lamp? That is a very good question. We demand answers. You really want that thing, don't you? Dude, you don't understand. The Dino Lamp has completely become a thing. It's just, it has become a thing. I don't know why. I can get one for $15 from Amazon. But I want that lamp. When they liquidate DAL, I demand that lamp and maybe the geodesic dome. I mean, the geodesic dome would actually, you know, cost money, though. That's actually a valuable piece. Is there such a thing as a normal ass home video? He's always out doing his unhingedness. Some videos are more normal than others. Hello, Maria. Glad to see you. All right, friends. Let's get to it.
Good evening, folks. Good evening, folks. Kent Hovind here in the crew.
And yes, I apologize. Kent's audio is low again. I don't have any choice in the matter, so you're just gonna have to bounce between him and me. Hopefully, I won't blow out your ears.
Dinosaur Adventureland in lovely Lenox, Alabama. Beautiful today. Day off. Get to give another tour. Brother, I give a tour every day. We're closed Sunday, Monday. Doesn't matter. They come anyways. Come on, we'll give you a tour of the place. It's amazing. We're going to be tonight in Psalm chapter 102. Help, Lord. I'm in trouble. Anybody ever been in trouble before you had to call on the Lord? Lord, what do you help? You'll see Psalm 102, a great one. There's April the 21st, 2025. Let's see, we're on a bunch of channels.
All seriousness, I really want to know why their volume levels are so inconsistent every single stream. It's either deafeningly loud, so dead you can barely hear him, or it's occasionally just right. Why? Why do the settings keep changing?
You can get them on Facebook, get our show on Facebook, on Rumble, on, let's see, Twitter, whatever that is, on drdino.com has a list of all of them. Get our app, the TV, Hovind TV. Cost us $6.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Low audio Hovind is best Hovind. It's like you can hear him, but you don't have to hear him all direct. There's always one thing wrong with the Hovind stream. Yeah, there's always something wrong. It's kind of like my stream. Something's always going to go wrong, if only slightly. But in that moment, it feels like an eternity. And I love this. He's about to talk about it costing $6,000. It's like, well, that's your own damn choice, Hovind.
$1,000 a year to have that. So if you want to help, please do. Okay, we just pay for it. We give it out for free. We want people to come.
I can do it for half of that.
If you could help, that'd be great. Also, we have a fundraiser for Noah's Ark. Is that right? Was GoFundMe or what is it? Okay, if you want to connect the black dots there, help us finish the arc. It's looking really sharp, and people love that part of the tour. Okay, let's see. I can get to all of our get to our Kent Hovind TV by pushing one of these buttons. Okay, Apple TV or something. Do whatever you got to do. You do it. I don't know how to.
There's the like, share, comment, subscribe button. Good to see you, mate.
Understand all that. Okay, you can like our channel.
You know, it's interesting. I went from that thing bringing me no joy to me being a little amused by it again. Interesting.
Share it, comment, do all that kind of stuff. Help us to open for free. Join our 777 club. I like what you're doing. And thank you, Mr. Nelson, who calls himself Aaron Ra, the sun god, for the wonderful idea.
He's always got to be petty like that. Oh, God, can't. Never change. Or change completely. One or the other, bro. One or the other. And this is the usual point where I say, hey, you like what I do and you got a few shekels you can throw my way. It helps. Much love. If you can't, that's cool too. I guess this is also the point where I should shill for two of my websites. You know, the forums at finalzone.net, URL on the screen, and the image board at secretbonuspoint.com, because I had the domain. Like, literally, a lot of this stuff is because I bought the domain and was like, now I need to do something with it. A lot of my projects are like that. So there you go. If you want an image board, think 4chan without all the horrible crap. There you go. You want some forums, mobile responsive, there you go. There's me shilling my products. And like I said, if you want to donate to help keep these things running, keep the channel going, you know what to do. All right, there's my shilling for shekels. But do you shekel for shillings? It goes one way, but not the other. Anyway, let's get to it.
He said he wanted 666 people to give him $1 a day for his atheist activities.
And no, Aaron didn't say that.
I don't think you got 20 people to feed like I do and 140 acres to maintain, but it's a good idea. Only we need 777, not 6.
Yes, all that stuff that was given to you, Kent, that none of it is anything you actually paid for.
666. Okay. Call Bobby or one of the secretaries at 855-BIG-DINO, extension 1, or email drdino-secretary@gmail.com. Here we are, Dr. Dino. 9.05 years been open now for free. Come on down. It's really amazing here. Brother, I've lived here the whole time, and I'm still stunned how fun it is around here. Yeah, great, great. Come get our creation seminar series. Somebody sent me, we found this book digging through one of the boxes that gets lost around here. The Hovind Family Yearbook. Why?
Oh, dear God. He went from giving us the history of DAL to showing us this for the next month. I don't care. These are all people who want nothing to do with you, Kent. So, yeah, enjoy. Enjoy your crappy memories. You're going to realize, or you've already realized, and you're just reminiscing about the time when you actually were somebody, not some weird Hawaiian shirt wearing cult leader in the middle of bumfuck nowhere.
Y2K. There's somebody who keeps track of all the Hovinds all over the world, I guess, you know. And look at this. Hovind longevity. Julia Hovind lived to be 94.6 years old up in Washington. Sadie Hovind, 91.9 years old in Wisconsin. A lot of them in Wisconsin, a lot of the relatives up there. Otto Hovind, 90 years old. 90 years old. Let's see. Egbert, 88 years old. Henry, I knew Henry
Sorry, trying to
Hovind from Wisconsin. I got to meet him.
trying to do something and click the wrong thing.
I was just a young kid, 8 or 9 years old. Let's see.
Kent, hang on. I really should have said this earlier. Who the fuck cares? Who but you gives a single gnat's shit, I should say, about this?
Ida Hovind, don't remember that one, Minneapolis. So let's see. Charlie Hovind up in Galesburg we went there all the time to Galesburg to Lake Bracken. Charlie Hovind's house. He had, let's see, his sons were Myron, Larry, and Charles Jr., I think. If anybody knows them in Galesburg, tell them to call Kent. Say hi. I thought I'd let you atheists know the Hovinds tend to live a long time. I'm going to beat Julia's record of 94.6 or die trying. So you have a long time to hear me try to explain to you that you have chosen a really dumb religion.
Not realizing that this just means I've got many, many years to constantly ridicule you as you slowly grow more and more senile. Ladies and gentlemen, the gift that keeps on giving, Kent Hovind. Now available for $9.97 in the clearance section at your local Walmart.
Why not admit it now and join the winning team? That's the thought. Okay. Get our video series on what on earth's about to happen, or the book about what's coming in the future, according to the Bible. Here we are, Psalm 102, and on the 21st of April. Kentucky Atheist Club, July 6th. Come join us. You might need a bodyguard up there, you think? Normally, nobody wants my body, but we'll see. Maybe.
Kent, no one's going to do anything to you. All right?
They may want to put me out of their misery. So come on. Join us.
He seriously thinks he's the target of such attempts. Pathetic. How much of an ego do you have to have?
Would they call the office for details on that, Joseph? Well, Krista, you or one of the girls can handle it. Your extension 1? Okay, good. Come visit us, Dinosaur Adventureland. Take the real tour. We're straight north of Pensacola, 70 miles, a little bitty town of Lenox, Alabama, right there. Beautiful place. Our greenhouse, nobody knows why they call it that. Let's see what we're supposed to get to.
Nobody knows why they call it a greenhouse. Come on, Kent. A child can figure this out.
Carrots. Noah's Ark. If you want to help us build Noah's Ark, we really could use some carpenters to help. We've got 3 people working. How many hours a day do you work, Titus?
I can't legally say unless the Employment Board of Alabama come and raid this place. Somehow I work 28 hours a day. Master Hovind sometimes allows me to sleep, see my family. Maybe I can eat a bug off the floor, but otherwise, all I'm ever doing is hammering that wood. I've got splinters replacing broken bones. Someone help me. Save me from the Hovind. Turn Titus into Cletus there, but hey, I get to use one of my voices.
About 11 or 12 hours every day. Yeah, what a blessing he's been. But We need some help. Framers, drywallers. So, what are you doing for heaven's sake? Let's go to slide number 1306. Oh,
Um, much like the book of that name, I apparently am using computers to kill God. That's kind of my mo in life. It's kind of the goal.
6. Enter. Psalm 102. A prayer of the afflicted expressing deep distress and seeking divine support during a period of suffering and hardship. You will have those times where you wonder, why on earth did God let this happen? I wrote a book on that when I was in prison. Why on earth?
Oh God, here we go. He's gonna reminisce about the prison time he was in prison. I wrote a book on that when I was in prison. Yeah, I wrote a small book while I was in middle school as well, Kent.
Did God let this happen for heaven's sake? A bunch of stories, an email.
So fucking stupid.
Krista, could you or Stephen see if you can find? I wrote 7 books. This is one.
You know, given that he went into prison just before when this, hang on. I was gonna say he could have been clever and called it Gmail for God Mail. Because he certainly wouldn't have been aware of Google Mail services, but that was right when they were becoming a thing. I think it might have actually launched just after he went into prison. I'm not sure.
One in hardback. One's done. Joseph, are they all up online? Okay. Well, add that to your long list of to do to find the rest of the, because that was just a fun. It was a fun series to write. As I went through the emotional roller coaster of prison, I would write. Sometimes I'd write to another prisoner, or sometimes I'd.
Oh yeah, Gmail launched in like 2004, so he would have been late to try to go for that name. Although I feel like he would have been clever to use it anyway. I don't know.
Write to myself in the past or in the future. With an email, you can talk to anybody anywhere. Okay, not email, an email. Okay. Anyway, the psalmist describes his personal anguish, comparing his days to smoke and his bones to furnace, indicating the intensity of his pain and the feeling of being consumed by it. He feels abandoned and alone, likening himself to an owl in the desert, a sparrow on a house.
Now Maria, that's fucking funny. When I walk my dog, he likes to check his pee mail. And I'm sure most of you know, but if you know anything about canines and the way they do scent marking, that doesn't just become a little pun. That becomes actually freaking funny. Well done.
Top, emphasizing his sense of isolation and despair. Here we go. Do not hide your face from me. Psalm 102. A prayer of the afflicted when he's overwhelmed. You ever been just overwhelmed? Hmm?
You ever notice those things? At least he didn't ask for a show of hands, but it's like every preacher, it's like, have you ever experienced this perfectly normal thing in this dilemma we call life? Have you ever felt this very common emotion? Wow, really? Well, Magic Book, my interpretation of Magic Book says something about that. Wow. It's almost as if we're all alive. We all interact in society and we feel certain ways at certain times. I felt overwhelmed today. I've been pissed off today. I've laughed today. I didn't cry today. Some days maybe, not today. um, let's see. I felt indignant today. I felt belittled today. Oddly not envious now that I think about it. Sometimes I'll feel that way some days, but not today. You know, I felt many things today because I'm a normal functioning human for the most part. What are you getting at, Kent?
He poureth out his complaint. Hear my prayer, O Lord, and let my cry come unto thee. Hide not thy face from me in the day when I am in trouble. Incline thine ear unto me in the day when I call. Answer me speedily. You ever felt overwhelmed? Sometimes you're just like, I can't keep up. What do I do? Well, when you're old.
Yeah, Kent, you want to know something? I wind up overwhelming myself. Me and my good friend ChatGPT spent the past off and on beyond work and sleep 24 hours trying to write up custom messaging software that worked until it stopped working. And I'm too damn inexperienced and too damn lazy to manually debug it. So I'm just kind of like, this was a fun experiment. I see that the AI can do this. I see that I can give it instructions and it makes something that mostly works. But as it starts to get more complex, it loses capability to a point where I would need to get in there manually. And I do not have the dedication right now for it. So that's going to be a side project. Overwhelm myself with it though, but that's fine. Because, I felt like working on that.
Overwhelmed, he poured out his complaint to the
And don't get me started on the stuff I dealt with before and after Sunday stream. You ever redo a whole damn server, like change every other config on it to make it basically become something else, but still keep it doing what it did originally? Yeah. I had to learn a lot of stuff that I didn't know. But that's okay, because I learned stuff.
Lord. He said, I'm in trouble. Lord, I got a problem here. I'm in trouble. Help. Do something quick, Lord. Okay. My days are consumed like smoke. My bones are burned as an hearth. My heart.
Yeah, Zach, he's had that role model shirt since the shirt announcement, kind of chilling over there by his books and stuff. Just out of view, but like a subliminal message of buy my shirt, buy my books, buy my laminated charts. How about I buy your Dino Lamp, Kent? And by buy, I mean you donate it to the worthy cause. Maybe I'll see that as a miracle and turn to Jeebus.
Heart is smitten and withered like grass, so that I forget to eat my bread. By reason of the voice of my groaning, my bones cleave to my skin. I'm like a pelican in the wilderness and like an owl of the desert. What? What's this have to do with it? I watch and am as a sparrow alone upon the housetop. Mine enemies reproach me all the day, and they that are mad against me are sworn against me. Interesting. Pelican is listed as one of the birds that you're not supposed to eat in Leviticus chapter 11. It's an unclean bird. Pelicans are only mentioned 3 times in the Bible. He said in Leviticus,
I've got an unclean bird for you right here. Bonus points if you can guess whether the finger in question is horizontal or vertical right now.
11, don't eat the swan, don't eat the pelican, and don't eat the eagle.
Seriously, first one to guess right wins an internet cookie.
Deuteronomy repeats it. Don't eat the pelican, the eagle, and the cormorant. Psalm 102, are like a pelican in the wilderness. There are 8 different kinds of pelicans. They might have had a common ancestor called a pelican. That kid today on the tour, he's having a blast. He was 8 years old. I say that about 40 times on my tour. I stop and say, kids, now there's 10 different kinds of skunks in the world. They might have had a common ancestor called skunk. That does not prove that the skunk is related to, let's see,
here he goes with his damn chart. Bro, why don't you just put it up over on this left side by your imagine and other shit?
turtle. Yeah, the skunk and the turtle. You can see the similarity. This is the stuff they teach our kids in public school. No wonder they think there's more than 2 genders. This is not a science chart. It's a
Oh, and there we go. First case of him being a bigoted piece of shit.
propaganda poster. 8 kinds of pelicans. Now there are 225 kinds of owls. They probably had a common ancestor called an owl. Owls are amazing. They can rotate their necks 270 degrees. Thanks to their unique blood pooling system, it collects blood to power the brain and eyes when their neck is moved. See, when they turn their neck too far, it cuts off circulation. So how did that evolve? They have this special pooling of blood to hold blood for that. How did that evolve? See, for millions of years, they all died. None of them survived. They all turned their head too far and died. Got one
You're fucking dumb.
of them finally said, we got to get a pool of blood in here to hunt around. You guys believe in evolution are insane.
Hey, Kent, it's a pressurized system, right? The blood system, cardiovascular, the whole damn thing. It's pressurized. So you realize that's a pretty minor adaptation, and it's kind of fancy them saying it's a unique blood pooling system when it's just, oh, they store a little bit more blood because of enlarged arteries. So they have a little bit longer period of everything being given nutrients, but getting oxygen, etc., when they turn their heads that far. Not hard to understand. They only need it for maybe a second or two longer, a second or two. Seriously, it's Not hard to think about. Could be off on some details, but that's just me taking a wild guess, and I'm probably mostly right.
Asymmetrical ears. One ear is higher than the other, so they can hear which direction the sound's coming from.
Oh, yes, because, nothing with binaural audio can, binaural hearing can tell where sounds are coming from. Hey, audience, did you know that only owls can tell where sounds are coming from? So, that time you found your phone when you lost it by calling it and you tracked it down from the ringing sound, that was just magic. That was just a miracle. You didn't use your, ears to fucking parse where it was based on the slight time delay of the fucking sound hitting one ear or the other and the level difference between it because one's coming right to your ear and the other is being muffled by your head. Nope, didn't do that at all. Nope, nope, nope. Just magic. Only owls can do that. You're a fucking idiot, Kent.
The thunket. Affection display. Owls show by gently touching beaks. They're known as billing. Touch their beaks together. That's I love you in owl language, okay? Some owls eat other owls. The great horned owl preys on barred owls. Parents, sometimes when food is hard to get, they only feed the strongest chicks. Let the other ones die. Elf owl, smallest one, only 5 or 6 inches tall. The Blackiston's fish owl, the largest owl.
Okay, they need their asses kicked for not giving you the charging plug. That's fucking stupid. And yeah, battery.
They're 32 inches tall. Pretty good size owl. They have feathers on the front that makes it, their wings are silent. Owl flight, you can't hear them fly through the air. Huh, how did that evolve?
I don't know, Kent. I have no idea. Adaptation. It's a bird. It's gonna have wings. It's a hunter. Ooh, maybe, just maybe, the ones that had the slightly different wings that made a little less sound, the way the feathers were, maybe, hear me out now, maybe they were a little bit more successful at hunting. Maybe they were a little more fit to breed because they had gotten a little more food. They were a little better at, nurturing on the females and the like, getting, better eggs. Um, you know, they were doing a little better. And so that propagated. Of course, I'd be talking more about a proto owl in that case. But tomato, it's still the reasoning for that. It's not hard. Also, if you want to know how all this stuff evolved, why don't you ask the people who study those animals? How about you ask the professionals and actually listen to what they have to say? Maybe you should try that instead of asking random people on the internet.
Parliament is the name of a group of owls, a parliament. Let's see, a gaggle of geese, a pride of lions, a murder of crows, school of fish. What's a group of atheists together called?
Smart. Also, I should add in that a group of rats is so very appropriately known as a mischief. A mischief of rats. And if you have ever owned rats, you know that is a very apt description.
Idiots. Okay.
But we're supposed to treat Hovind with respect. We're supposed to be nice, and that's the way he talks. Fuck you, Hovind. You pedo-enabling piece of shit.
Special Olympics. Okay.
Wow. So you're going to mock the actually handy-capable people. You're going to insult them and us together. Wow. Okay. Okay, Kent. We're not the ones who believe in fairy tales, you fuckwit. How are we supposed to be nice and respect this guy? These people defending him know he talks like this. So how can they possibly think for even a moment, just this alone, that we should give him any level of respect? let alone the other horrific things he said, the things he's allowed to happen, the things he's done, the things he's enabled, the opinions he has about basic decency, basic human rights. Fuck him.
Little owl, introduced to UK from mainland Europe in the 18th century, has evolved to fit native ecosystems. Right. It's still an owl, guys. It didn't evolve anything. There are 50 different kinds of sparrows. They might have had a common ancestor called a sparrow. Anyway, I'm like a pelican in the wilderness, an owl, and a sparrow. Mine enemies reproach me all the day, and they that are mad against me.
You notice he went into this little evolution tirade right in the middle of reading Psalms. It's as Grayson pointed out. That's all he does. That's all he cares about is say the random anti-evolution crap. He doesn't care about teaching the Bible. He doesn't. As Grayson put it, he's in a sense trying to add to God's word with the way he interjects so often. It's never to make an actual point related to it. He's just got to be like, oh, I got to throw evolution in there. That's all he does. People give me and others crap for the videos we do on the time we want to about this man, yet this is all this man does day in, day out. But we're the pathetic ones. You're the pathetic ones for watching. I had a guy basically say that the other day. I meant to cover that comment. Maybe I will sometime in a little dedicated event. It's incredible the lack of self-awareness these people have.
Are sworn against me. You think there's anybody mad at us out there, Joseph? You read the comments. One or two. And if we go up to Kentucky on July 6th and the atheists are holding their rally, why don't you guys hold a rally against lies in the textbooks? What's the matter with you, cowards?
I mean, Aron pretty much tore apart your little seminar on that, so no one needs to rally against it. Also, yeah, call us cowards while you hang out in your little cult compound, and while you debate whether to come up or not. Yeah.
Hypocrites. Come on. There are lies in the textbooks. I spell them out clearly on video number 4. Let's just pick one. The embryo having gill slits. Proven wrong.
Oh, God, here we go about the fucking gill slits. I'm so fucking tired of hearing you bring up the fucking gill slits and fucking Haeckel, arguing over an irrelevant attempt at a point that you have, that your whole entire stance and view on things is negated by over a century of scientific progress, which is universal for every other thing you bring up. But especially when it comes to the Haeckel thing, because we have the micro photographs. You can argue all about Haeckel's fucking drawings. You can see the goddamn pharyngeal arches on the fucking embryos to this fucking day. You can take a damn photo of an embryo developing right fucking now and see them. If someone wants to colloquially call them gill slits, whatever. It's a stupid name, but whatever. We know the part they're talking about. Those are there. If you wish to call them something different, that's fine. The part still exists. It's like the reclassification of Pluto. We just redesignated how we classified it. It didn't change the icy fucking ball that it is out there.
In 1874, the textbooks are still teaching that. Embryology. Why don't you do a rally against all the public schools and universities that still have that in their books? Come on. Show you're really honest. You can't because you're not really honest. Okay. Let's see. I have eaten ashes like bread and mingled my drink with weeping. I don't know. Crying in your beer, is that what they get? Okay.
I thought you were an expert and understood the Bible, Kent. I thought you were an expert on this, because even I can interpret this to imply that the remnants of food, and that a person has been so upset that they've, cried, and metaphorically or to literally, because this can't, will happen where tears pool up and drip. You might get into something you're drinking. It's great symbolism. And I can't believe I just complimented the Bible on something, but that's what they're going for. And you want to play stupid with the few parts of that fucking book that are actually well written. The occasional verse that I look at and I see, that's actually kind of well done. There's like one every couple of dozen pages. I wonder what Hovind's opinion on art is. I really do. And I mean like all over the board, both broadly and individually. I already have ideas of what it would be, but this man cannot possibly appreciate any kind of art for the sake of it. We know he certainly doesn't appreciate actual music. He's got a very, very childish understanding of anything with complexity. So there's no way he could appreciate any kind of fine art for whatever value to pull from it. He can't pull value from anything like that. He can't even pull value from the Bible. He just pulls it from his own self. That's what all his value is. You notice everything he does is basically a testament to Kent Hovind. To God's glory. Yeah, when you think you're God, it's easy to give glory. Stupid concept anyway. Is it just me, or am I a bit on fire today? I'm feeling pretty sharp.
Because of thine indignation and thy wrath, for thou hast lifted me up and cast me down. He feels like, God, you picked me up and you slammed me. For my days are like a shadow that declineth. I am withered like grass. He's really feeling like he's having a rough time. Okay. But thou, O Lord, shalt endure forever, and thy remembrance to all generations. Thou shalt rise and have mercy upon Zion, for the time to favor. Yea, favor her. Yea, the set time is come. For thy servants take pleasure in her stones and favor the dust thereof. The people who love Jerusalem, they just love even the rocks.
Oh man, someone thinking my channel's a way for Kent to bypass bands. Oh, they must have took a cursory glance and not looked at most of the other stuff, because any kind of look at any of the thumbnails and stuff should tell you. But yeah, I complain about Kent way too much for this to be a Kent Hovind channel.
Over there. When I was over there, it's pretty dry and dusty, and there's a lot of rocks. A lot of rocks. Okay. Yeah, no problem finding rocks to stone somebody. They're everywhere. Okay. Talk about a gravel pit. Okay. Their servants favor her.
Yes, you would sure pay attention to rocks for people to stone people with. That's your specialty. That's something you love right there. Well, why don't you go back to why don't you go to Taliban-led Afghanistan if you like people being smashed with rocks so much? It's funny, all these Christian fundamentalists would do so very well in the Middle East, because that's where all the stuff they want to enact is commonplace. Just go there. Leave the civilized world alone. Oh, right. I forgot. They don't have the same version of Magic Sky Daddy that you do. So they're bad.
The heathen shall fear the name of the Lord, and all the kings of the earth thy glory.
Uh-oh. Stupid book full of magic bullshit says that people who don't believe stupid book full of magic bullshit are bad. Film at 11.
When the Lord shall build up Zion, he shall appear in his glory. He will regard the prayer of the destitute and not despise their prayer. When the Lord's going to build up Zion, he shall appear. Is this talking about the future? I don't know.
Yeah. You ever watch Gundam 79, The Duchy of Zion? That's totally it, right? Oh no, my best experience is that garbage PC game. I kid, but I just had to make that joke.
Oh, I think so. Okay. In Psalm chapter 90, it says, the days of our years are 70 years. You're going to live 70, 60 years, and 70. And if by reason of strength, they're fourscore. This is where the Bible says you're going to get 70 or maybe 80 years out of life generally. And that's what we get.
No, I don't think Kent can appreciate medieval religious art, because for one, it's all going to be Catholic. It's going to be, most of it's Sorry, there's a bug on my desk. Bastard. Hate this place. And bug was Hovind. There was a Hovind spy. Yeah, most of it's gonna be Protestantism, so there's no way. There's no way. Like, I'm sure if this man had his way, he'd tear Notre Dame down.
80, let's take 80. Huh. Israel became a nation 1948. I just wonder if 80 years later in 2028 is when the Lord's going to come. I don't know. We shall see. Who heard of such a thing? Shall the earth be made?
Uh, did he just totally fuck up time? Hang on, let's see. Listen carefully.
What we get? 80. Let's take 80. Huh. Israel became a nation 1948.
Yeah. You know something funny, Kent? When I was watching a thing on the whole existence of Israel, it brought up an interesting point that there's actually very little evidence that Hebrew civilizations were at all remotely dominant there for any reasonable length of time, implying that the idea of there having been a previous Israel kind of is a load of shit. It really changes things, depending on how you interpret stuff and how you look at reality.
I just wonder if 80 years later in 2028 is when the Lord's going to come.
Okay, yeah, he got his time right. 80 years later, 2028. Good job, Kent. You did math.
I don't know. We shall see. Who heard of such a thing? Shall the earth be made forth in a day? Shall a nation be born at once? A nation, they're going to become a nation in one day? That's what happened May 14th, 1948. Poof, there goes Israel.
Wow, that happens with a lot of nations. Hey, one day in 1990, East Germany just ceased to be. Goes both ways. One day after an election, South Sudan just began to exist. There has to be a point where this stuff happens. You guys are obsessed with everything that begins to exist has a cause, and everything begins to exist. So, duh.
I don't know when I wrote my book, what's about to happen. Somebody wrote me, several people wrote in, Hovind, when do you think the Lord's coming? I said, I don't know, but if I had to guess, 2028.
Mary Magdalene will know when he's coming.
Here's my reasons why, and they're all in my book there. This is one of them here. Maybe it doesn't tie in. I don't know. I'm not setting a date. I don't know when he's coming. For this shall be written for the generation to come, and the people which shall be created shall praise the Lord. So this new nation that was created in 1948, you watch. Now the Jews are not a godly people. They're God's people, but they're not a godly people. So pray for them. Okay?
Wow. What an asshole. Anti-Semitism, anybody? Check on the Hovind.
For he hath looked down from the height of his sanctuary from heaven.
And some would argue, Chris, that's not anti-Semitism. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. If you're religiously obsessed and you're Christian and you're going to discredit the Jews, try to cut them out of stuff like that, you're being anti-Semitic. So fuck you.
Did the Lord behold the earth to hear the groaning of the prisoner, to loose those that are appointed to death, to declare the name of the Lord in Zion and his praise in Jerusalem. When the people are gathered.
Yes, Allie, exactly. Israel is only where it is because Great Britain didn't want that area anymore.
Together, and the kingdoms to serve the Lord. He weakeneth my strength in the way, he shorteneth my days. The psalmist is really struggling. Okay. I said, oh my God, take me not away in the midst of my days. Thy years are throughout all generations. Lord, I don't want to die young. Let me live longer. Of old hast thou laid the foundations of the earth, and the heavens are the work of thy hands. Heavens. Huh. The foundation of the earth, that phrase is found.
And no, I'm still not ignoring the fact that every single verse he reads has an italicized part, which indicates that it should be stressed and that the flow of the statement needs to change, and he never reads it correctly. This is a preacher who never reads the Bible correctly. How the fuck do you do that? How do you get to that stage? Oh, right, be a self-righteous piece of shit like Kent Hovind who won't take a single bit of correction or do any kind of personal growth. He has been the exact same person he's always been since like 1970.
7 times in the Bible. He laid the foundation of the earth, Isaiah 48. Let's see. The burden of the word of the Lord to Isaiah, for Zechariah, which stretcheth forth the heavens and layeth the foundation of the earth. Huh. Is there a foundation to the earth? By the way, stretched out the heavens. That's why we see a redshift, and the stars are billions of light years away and are not billions of years old. Duh. Okay.
Yes, they are. Fuck all about redshift.
Hebrews. And thou, Lord, in the beginning hast laid the foundation of the earth. The heavens, plural, are the work.
I'd love to ask Kent what the maximum possible radio frequency is and what is the delimiter for that. Does anyone know out there, not necessarily the actual frequency, but what the delimiter is for the maximum possible frequency you can have for electromagnetic radiation? Once you start reaching the size of atomic nuclei, and especially the size of the electron for the wavelength, it becomes impossible. You're trying to create a wave smaller than the propagation medium of the propagation element of the wave. I forget what that frequency is, but it's pretty damn high. Like, I truly can't recall. If I could do math in my head, I could do the division to figure it out. There's no way. But that's the actual upper limit. Incidentally, there's technically a lower limit, but that would involve something with a wavelength literally the size of the universe. There'd be no way to even detect anything remotely close to that because just the scale and time involved is insane. But technically speaking, that too would be the lowest frequency you could reach. So one cycle every 15 billion years more, it doesn't really matter at that point. This is the stuff I think about. While Kent is working on evolution slides, I'm busy doing a real job and pondering the complexities of the universe. But, that's just what I do for fun.
Works of thy hands. Now, Genesis 1:1 says heaven singular. If your Bible says heavens plural, throw it away. Okay? Put it on the shelf. Get a King James. All that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of the life, the book of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. Huh.
No, it's not the highlights, it's the italicized parts when he shows his less congested slides. Look at it next time. And if you actually look in some Bibles, I think it's common in King James versions, there will be italicized sections, which is an indication that that is a word of importance that helps to convey the correct meaning. And he will read things wrong. Next time it comes up, I'll point it out.
The foundation of the world. Let's see. Then foundations, plural, found in the Bible a bunch more times. The earth shook, the foundations of heaven moved and shook. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? This is one of the questions God asked to Job in Job 38. God asked Job 84 questions. Job didn't answer any. These are the kind of questions that don't need an answer. The answer is obvious.
Like, yeah, Zach, that's what he does as far as the blue text.
When your dad says, hey, Dad, I think I should be allowed to stay out till 4 a.m. He says, well, son, let me ask you a question. Who pays the electric bill around this house? Who bought this house? Who bought that bed you slept on?
But hang on. If he's out of the house till 4 a.m., he's not using any power, is he? Checkmate, fucktard.
Who paid for them clothes you changed about a week ago? Huh? Who paid for that soap you took a shower with about a month ago, son? Who pays that food for you eat and eat and eat? Look, when Dad starts asking you those questions, shut your mouth, nod your head. Yeah, Dad, you're right. Okay.
Yes.
You're a shook.
Yes, be a complete slave and never go out and experience life of your own accord. Never go out and make the mistakes that you'll learn from. And I prefer people, younger people not go out and make mistakes. There's plenty of things I did that were stupid that I definitely would not want anyone to make. And if I was to ever have kids, I'd certainly try to avoid. But I'd also understand that they're humans too. They need to go out and figure out this stuff. They need to test the waters, so to speak. They need to see just what else outside of normalcy there is. And if you cultivate that correctly, they can grow up to be someone well-adjusted and halfway decent. Or they'll wind up like Hovind.
And trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken. They know not, neither do they understand. They walk on in darkness. the foundations of the earth are out of course. He laid the foundations of the earth, but should not be removed. That's coming up in Psalm 104. When he gave to the sea his decree that the water should not pass, he appointed the
I don't care nothing about no Psalm 104, but the F-104 Starfighter looks fucking awesome.
foundations of the earth. Foundations of the earth, found in the Bible a bunch of times. Have you not
Yep, and the word kill is in the Bible a bunch of times. What does that tell you, Kent?
known? Have you not heard? Hath it not been told you? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? You forget the Lord thy maker and stretch forth the heavens. By the way, again, there he is stretching the heavens. That's why we have a red shift.
No, we do because of recessional velocity influenced by dark energy. Respect going both ways is a foreign concept to Hovind. Exactly. And yes, that's Hovind's stream going to shit. I looked back at one of my recent videos and small snippets to make a thumbnail, and I saw that it kind of went to shit at points, but I know the video itself was originally good. So it's an interesting bit of congestion on my end / Restream's end that I'll just have no idea about later on. So just for the record, if the stream does kind of act up on my end, y'all know I apologize, but it's like there's literally nothing I can see that's even going on unless it gets too bad. So things come in choppy and it actually is on my end. I'm doing what I can on this end. Some on the internet's just decided, no, we're going to throttle everything for 5 seconds.
That's why the stars are not billions of light years old, billions of years old. He laid the foundations of the earth.
Except they are, Kent.
Thus saith the Lord, if the heaven can be measured and the foundations of the earth searched out. Wait a minute, is God saying we can't measure the heavens? That's correct. Nobody knows where it stops. We cannot measure the heavens. And we can't search the foundations of the earth. Nobody.
There are no foundations. It's a gravitationally bound sphere orbiting a class G star in a perfectly normal, as part of a perfectly normal solar system, in a perfectly normal barred spiral galaxy, in a perfectly quaint and quiet corner of the universe, which incidentally is actually inside of a void. We happen to be, us and the local group, happen to be in the edges of a void otherwise. It's just kind of funny. Like, we're kind of hanging out in our own little place on the side of the, multi-galaxy highway. Our position in the universe is weird, but cool.
Nobody's been down there. We have guesses what's down there with seismic waves, S&P waves, and all that from earthquakes, but nobody knows. Have you not known? Have you not heard? Has it not been told you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundation?
Yeah, he's getting his most recent update of farm videos, if you know what I mean.
Of the earth, he stretched out the heavens as a curtain. The foundations of the earth. Are we okay? I put my words in thy mouth and have covered thee in the shadow of thy hand.
And just since we've got a lot of the crew here, I mean, you're all the crew, but like the super core crew and the Discord and like, if y'all know the origins of and can cite to me the origin of the rumors about Ken Hovind's search history being very focused on animals, and certain traits beyond what he did in his Making Babies series, let me know, because I want to just see what the source of that rumor is, or get the exact what has been stated, what has been quoted, what has been what have you. Thanks.
Hand that I may plant the heavens and lay the foundations of the earth. Thus saith the Lord, if heaven can be measured, the foundations of the earth searched out. I will cast off all the seed of Israel. So if God says, if you can figure out the size of heaven and figure out the foundations of the earth, I'll cast my chosen people out. Well, that ain't going to happen.
The fuck? If you can guess these two random things, I'll get... Okay. Okay there, Adolf Jehovah. Fuck.
Hear, O ye mountains, the Lord's controversy, ye strong foundations of the earth. It's interesting. Psalm 102 tells us that God laid the foundations of old. Hebrews 1 echoes the thought that God laid the foundations in the beginning. Job 38 simply says God laid the foundations of the earth. But Job 38:6 says the foundations are fastened upon something else. What are the foundations of the earth fastened upon? That's what Job 38:6 talks about. Hebrews 1 names something else as
Ah, yes, Theo. That's a source of Hovind information I really need to go back to, but he's a bit of a bitter pill to swallow sometimes.
Lord Jesus Christ, upholds all things by the word of his power. Proverbs 28 tells us that Proverbs 3 indicates the earth was founded by wisdom, while Jeremiah 31 indicates the foundations are not searchable. You can't search them.
But Kent, you just did a control F for the foundations all through the Bible, and you got results, but you can't search them? I call bullshit. That plain text was easily parsed. Metadata be damned. The search query returned results. You lie, good sir.
Micah tells us they're strong, so strong the earth should never be removed. Huh. I don't know who those guys are. Christian Data Resources. I don't know who they are, but I thought this was a good comment. Okay.
It's always, I don't know who they are, but I thought it was good. I don't know who they are, I thought it was good. Let me put in a whole lot of really good God stuff and put it on like SatanLovesYou.net and you know, that be a source. Convince them to do that. That'd be great.
They've tried to figure out what's in the middle of the earth. Best thing you can do is get like a sonogram, send the sound waves to from an earthquake, pick them up on the other side. They get S and P waves, and they've decided they think the earth probably has, several layers to it, the core, etc. But they've never really been able to search the foundations of the earth. Okay. They shall perish, but thou shalt endure. God, you're going to endure. All of them shall wax old like a garment. As a vesture shalt thou change them. They shall be changed. But thou art the same. And the year.
This right here is what I'm talking about. When I talk about him in the italicized sections and reading it wrong, art is italicized. And he put that in there. So whatever source he copied this from, he made sure to have that in there. And here's the way he read it.
God, you're going to endure. All of them shall wax old like a garment. As a vesture shalt thou change them. They shall be changed.
Yeah, here's the way he reads it, right?
But thou art the same, and thy years shall have no end.
When it should be read as, but thou art the same, and thy years shall have no end. Really easy to do. Really easy. Hell, if it wasn't for the fact I find it the most boring read ever, I would do a whole goddamn audiobook of that stupid ass thing. But after the first few minutes, you'd hear me just slam the thing down, walk away, leave, and then the next, 12 hours would just be silence on the tape. But that's what I mean when Kent doesn't read this shit right. He doesn't even read the Bible right as a preacher. How do you screw that up?
The children of thy servant shall continue, and their seed shall be established before thee. But God has chosen the children of Israel as his chosen people, not because they're better than anybody, because they've done some dumb things down through their history. But God chose Abraham and said, you and your seed are going to get this land. And you Palestinians are talking about from the river to the sea. You want to throw the Jews out and get their land. God's going to give Jews your land from the river Euphrates to.
And here he goes with his anti-Islamic shit, anti-Muslim, anti-Palestinian shit, because, this is Ken Hovind. So he thinks the Jews are no bueno. But they still deserve the land. I'm not going to get into it. The whole thing pisses me right the fuck off. But the duality of Hovind.
The Nile River is all going to be the promised
Adolf Hovind.
land. You watch. It'll happen. All those other countries are going to have to fold up. Anyway, Psalm 102, great chapter. Any questions?
Yeah, same. I couldn't listen. I couldn't listen to like a Bible on tape, no matter who was reading it.
Questions or comments, brother? The dire wolf, as they say they brought back, that it's so exciting to bring in the new species. It's been around for a while before, and if anything, there's still wolves around. It's just a different kind of wolf. I don't know if it's interfertile with the other ones or not. We'll see.
And Kent, knowing nothing about this, as many of our More biologically minded friends have pointed out that they've just basically done some normal ass wolves that happen to have similar traits rather to the primordial dire wolf. It just phenotypically looks similar. That's really it. But of course, popular science likes to butcher things. And of course, Kent wouldn't know anything about the actual science, so this is his response. What a joke.
Matter, still a dog, like animal.
It's still a dog.
Not proof it's related to a banana or a potato.
And see, that's where he always goes. He can't just leave at the question itself. He has to go back into his evolution stint every single time. He's so fucking obsessed with it. You notice I haven't made a Guild Wars reference all day. Not even a coded one. All day. Hadn't said a word. The stream's been going for an hour? Yeah, an hour. I'm only just now mentioning Guild Wars 2 because I have other interests in life. I do other things. My, online shows, my program, Kent, my TV show is about all kinds of stuff. You just make up a reasonable part of the programming block. You're Teen Titans Go. You're what I go to when I don't have anything else to fit into a programming slot when I want to stream. You're pretty crummy. Sometimes you can get a laugh out of you, but you're not something that's taken seriously. And you fill out my programming block nicely.
Okay. So is Kent sending to the Ark? Counter. Well, it's not for sure yet. It'll be 2 or 3 or 4 of us go. Come on, join us. Okay. No, they took us off of YouTube and
Oh my god, people still don't know he's off YouTube. This is the stuff that kills me is like, y'all are supposed to be his fans. Y'all are supposed to be the ones who watch. You're supposed to be the ones who care what he has to say. And as much as he brings this shit up, you haven't gotten a clue that, oh, he got banned. Now he's going to bitch about the ban. Watch him bring up the 4 million channels a year or whatever.
we're on a bunch of other channels because YouTube can't handle the truth. There's a petition someplace to
YouTube can't handle you fucking idiot. No, kind of goes the other way around. You fucking conspiracy theorist nut jobs can't handle the truth, as in actual fucking reality.
try to get YouTube reinstated. Have you seen that? Petition to reinstate Kent Hovind YouTube. So if you find that, sign it. And if you go back and get my February 1st show, Open Letter to Donald Trump, please.
That's on the agenda, Zach. I think you mentioned it before that I really need to get to it. I definitely want to. It'll be sometime down the line. That's all I can say.
Look at that. February 1st.
I mean, when I talk about, not having the time or resources for a lot of stuff, I'm not kidding.
And send that to everybody you know in Congress and anybody in political power. But Donald Trump needs to get that. They need to look at my case and use that as an example of how the Justice Department gets weaponized.
Donald Trump don't give a fuck about you. Oh, by the way, I want to mention it. I don't know what the status of these things are because during Trump presidencies, I just stay right the fuck out of paying attention to literally anything in the news unless it just comes my way. But any of those Doge stimulus checks or whatever the fuck's supposed to be going on or was said to be going on with that, I need to remind Kent and everyone of the MAGA idiots out there, and pretty much anyone on the right as well, that those would be definitionally, as the previous ones during COVID were, socialism. Straight up socialism.
Against a Baptist preacher.
Yes, that's a good thing the government did, that being a preacher means fuck all. You commit a crime, you commit a crime. And criminals should go to jail. You are a criminal. Go to jail. For fuck's sake, would the local jurisdiction, local police force get off their asses and finally have Kent serve his sentence for abusing Cindy?
Just because they don't like what he's preaching. Yeah.
No, it's because you didn't pay your taxes for over a quarter of a century and did all kinds of other bullshit involving defrauding the government.
Okay, I believe we can accurately measure 124 light years away. Why does AI say 47 billion? It's artificial intelligence. With parallax trigonometry, it's pretty tough to measure 100 light years. I cover that on video number 7. Okay. Hope you and the crew are doing well. The question is, what is C14? Well, carbon, the element carbon.
Oh, let's see if he can explain an isotope without rumbling or rambling over it for 15 fucking hours.
Is normally carbon 12. That's atomic weight. Okay, atomic number 12. But carbon 14 is nitrogen that has been slapped around by UV light and turned into carbon 14. It's radioactive. It does not like to be carbon 14. It starts to decay.
Yep, totally not able to explain what an isotope is or actually explain how the isotope forms. He says something that alludes to how it forms, but you're not getting into the mechanics of it.
Let me get seminar part 7 open here. There we go. On video number 7 about questions and answers, it's actually.
I would love to see how long Kent would last in an El Salvadorian prison. Even more so, I would love for there to be a reality program documenting how long Kent Hovind could survive as a tourist in North Korea. I would pay to watch that. Wouldn't be a day.
5 hours long on 2 DVDs, if you get my series here. Seminar part 7. Where is that? Right here. Carbon dating, right? I like that. The diamond talking to the coal. You look older than your profile. Yeah, I've been under a lot of pressure. That's cute, whoever did that one. So I show how all carbon dating is based on some very obvious assumptions, okay? It's been shown clearly it does not work very well, especially.
The question didn't ask about carbon dating. The question just asked about what carbon-14 is.
When you realize the Earth before the flood came had crystal canopy overhead, over the atmosphere, like it says in Genesis 1 and 2. There was water above the firmament, and the firmament's where the birds fly. So that crystal canopy would block out UV light, which prevents the formation of carbon-14. So the animals living under the world before the flood came, under that canopy, probably had very little to no C14 in them. So when we dig them up today and try to date them by today's standard, we get a.
Crikey, we still got 2.5 minutes of this shit.
Wrong number. You got the wrong ruler. So watch my video number 7 for a whole lot more on that. Plus, I covered that a couple weeks ago on my show here. Carbon.
I got a rubber ruler. Rubber Hovind.
Okay, more. Thank you for strengthening my faith. Can't thank you enough. Well, good. Spread it around. Look at 2 Corinthians chapter 1. Sometimes God lets you go through things so that you can then have a ministry to help other people going through the same thing. People that went to war and got their leg shot off or their arm shot off, they can start a ministry for one-armed people that I would not understand.
No, Ken, I think you'd understand it fine. They lost an arm. Not, completely lost the ability to speak English. The fuck are you talking about? Oh, but metaphorical. They wouldn't feel the same. They wouldn't understand that, particular loss. Sure. But come on, bro. At the end, you're still saying the same crap. And if it takes stuff like that, ooh, you suffered the same experience I did. Let us go praise God together. The same God that could have stopped this from happening. And that's the gateway? That's pretty fucking pathetic. Not just that the claims of the deity can't stand on their own, but that you would take advantage of somebody having suffered like that. Take advantage of what's now potentially a weakness in this case, a weak point, and bring them into the cult. Wow, that's pretty fucked up. But that's your current, the thing is to be like, oh, start your own ministry. Okay, I started my own ministry of people who don't believe this shit. We're called the people who hang out and watch my live streams. They're in my Discord. They're in my BBS, forums. Should I plug those again? Because in case you didn't know, I do have where is it? Oh no, I don't know how to. I don't know how to operate this stuff. There you go. That URL on the screen, finalzone.net, and you find some forums, web responsive. Pop in, post some videos, talk, do whatever. Ostensibly gaming, but it can be what the hell ever. You'll like it. Join it. Way better than watching Hovind. Um, I'm not taking advantage of anybody though. I'm just providing a community. Community can be there, community's here, community on Discord. I'm not trying to take advantage of anybody. You, however, want to spread the cult. It's pretty fucking sickening. Also, since I shilled Final Zone, the image board, it's secret bonus point.
A lot of things you can't do with just one arm, like rub both your eyes at the same time. I mean, a lot of things you can't do with just one arm. They need.
You can use your finger and your thumb. Come on, Kent.
Somebody to minister to them. Maybe that something bad.
This just in: people with one arm can't fucking read the Bible. They can't understand anything. They need someone special to minister them to them. I can't minister to them. They only got one arm. The fuck, Kent?
Happened to you? Hang in there. Stay true, and maybe you can be a minister to somebody else having the same problem. That's what I look like on TikTok, brother. Long, tall, and skinny. I like that. Okay, more? Okay. Just wondering who the doctor would say, who built the pyramids. I covered that, what I know about it, video number 7 of the series. Get the whole series for $50. Return it when you're done. Get your money back if you want. But I think the Great Pyramid is the strange one. That one might have been built before the flood and survived the flood. What would a flood do to a pyramid? Get it wet, and then it dry out. So that's one theory. The other ones are copies. Obviously, some Egyptians guys built it. I think if you look at the Bible, the people were living to be 900 before the flood. You could learn a whole lot in 900 years. Oh, there it is. And after the flood, they still lived to be 400. You can get these charts on our website, Dr. Dino. On the back is all about Grand Canyon, probably formed in a week, not millions of years. So I think about this time, people who were living a long time, they would have known probably about technology that we don't even think about.
You're right, Tyler. He does do that a lot by referencing those DVDs. So he is citing himself. I'll be damned.
I've heard stories, I don't know, that they could raise heavy weights with music, sound waves. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Somebody else can find
Levitating rocks with music. Film at 11. At least that's kind of cool.
that battle. Okay. Not allowing comments or stitches to your video. What?
I don't allow comments or stitches on TikTok.
I don't know what the stitches are.
Yeah, they want to take your video and add themselves to it.
Oh.
I don't allow that. I'm just saying there's something about you.
Okay, well get your own channel. TikTok, whatever you want on TikTok. Okay.
That's what they're referencing, Kent. The fact that for whatever reason they want to, they can't stitch into your videos. My understanding is that the original video plays and then their response, in effect, comes immediately after it. Because in short form videos, when I've been doom scrolling, I see some that says stitch incoming. And if I wait, eventually it's someone else, usually talking about how stupid what they showed actually is. And without that stitch incoming text, you'd just think it was, random stupid person saying stupid crap. Then it turns out to be someone ridiculing stupid crap, or vice versa. Either way, I'm not too familiar with it, but I also think you kind of just bitching about nothing there. But then again, I have no respect for TikTok and its culture and anything on there, so really give a shit less.
I want to ride on my coattails. Okay. All right, that's it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, riding my coattails. No one's riding on shit, Kent. With Sandra leaving, you're certainly not getting anyone riding on anything else, you know what I mean? You're still wearing that wedding ring like a dumbass, Kent?
Much to you. Whatever. Tomorrow. All right. Psalm 103. Bye.
Go to hell, Kent. Fucker. Ooh, and look, someone would see that and be like, "Oh, you're mad at Kent. Why are you so mean?" don't give a fuck. He's an asshole. I'm going to call him an asshole. He's a fucker. I'm going to call him a fucker. He's a piece of shit. I'm going to call him a piece of shit. He's a pedo enabler. I'm going to call him a pedo enabler. He's a wife abuser. I'm going to call him a wife abuser. His search history allegedly contains bestiality. I'll make references to that. He's the one being a dickbag. I'm the comedian here. People forget that, which is nice that I'm taken so seriously. And while my general opinions are expressed here, they're also exaggerated for comedic intent. You guys know that. The rest of the people can't figure it out because they don't understand playing a character. Because I guess everything is real to them, just like their magic book of bullshit. But hey, what do I know? I'm just some jerk ass on the internet. Anyway, I think this has actually been kind of an amazing stream. I've been in top form today. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I am now going to go eat something, but if it is 6:30 right now, I might just have enough time after I grab the food to squeeze out an extra stream. I think I have the energy. Gonna try to find something, make that happen, then end my night with Guild Wars. Much love, as always. Be sure to hit up links in the description. And I will catch everyone